broadcasting to you from our North Catholic studios in Cranberry Township with our second episode of our North Catholic Athletics podcast. My name is Alex Brown.
And I'm Ryan Berry.
And together, we are your hosts for this podcast.
And we are starting off today talking about the North Catholic varsity hockey team. Closed 5-4 loss to Kiski last week. It was a close game throughout, but Kiski pulled it away at the end with 38 seconds left in the game. They got the game-winning goal. But there were some bright spots in that game. Tay Mellis had 3 goals, including the game tire with 2 minutes left. And we thought that would have taken us to overtime, but Kiski got that goal at the end of the game there, Alex.
That's how it went. But good on Tay to get those goals. I mean, he was the only one that was really generating a lot of offense that game. The North didn't get a lot of shots, and North was in the penalty box for 16 minutes. And Ryan, do you think that was a problem over the course of the game, just staying in the box, just not having enough players on the ice? I mean, Kiski converted on one of those power plays that they had. North was 2 for 4 though. I mean, but
I believe Kiski had 3 power plays that game.
Yes.
They converted on, I think, one of them, and it was the first one I think they believe they completed on, which made it a 1-goal deficit in that game, and that gave them momentum to catch back up. And I mean, Connor Bridges, the goalie, played amazing that game. He had 37 saves on 42 shots. But it's unfortunate the loss, but it was a good game. We were missing our captain, Quinton Schaefer, that game as well.
It's a game you lose. I mean, you have these games here and there. You're, as you say, you're missing players. Penalties did get in trouble. You might be wondering, how did Kiski only have 3 power plays if North was in the box for 16 minutes? That's because there was a 10-minute misconduct, it says, to Evan Robbins over the course of that game in the second period. But shots is the name of the game. You got to get opportunities, and to score, you have to shoot and get the puck on net, and that was not a strong point of North's game this last Tuesday.
Robbins did make up for that penalty. He had a goal that game, and I think it was the 3rd goal of the game that really gave us some momentum to catch back up in that game.
Certainly did. But in the end,
it was the 2nd goal of the game.
Second goal of the game. But in the end, it was not enough to outlast Kiski, but North will be back on the horse, as we said, this Tuesday. You're probably listening to it at least Tuesday. We're recording this as of Monday, the 8th of March. So when you're listening to this, it's probably either that day or it's already happened. But they will be playing on Tuesday night.
And it is a very important game because it's a division game, and division games are the most important. We're probably in the hardest division in all of, I guess, single A for hockey. I mean, we got to get this division win. We got to keep going on the horse. We have a game against Quaker Valley Thursday. So that's not a division game, but it'd be nice to get some momentum.
Every game's big. Every game's big. You need to get that momentum. You need to get that feeling good about yourself, feeling good about the team. And I'm sure they will pull it out on Tuesday night against a divisional rival in Freeport.
And you can catch that game on the North Catholic Sports Network, as we mentioned. I don't know when you're hearing the ad in this podcast, but you can listen to that game Tuesday on NC Sports Network.
And with that, let's move on to the swimming, North Catholic swimming events this past weekend on March the 6th. In particular, congratulations to Brittany Carmazzi, who's the WPIAL champion in the 100 fly and is going to states in a new school record for that. And then she's also 8th in the 100 back, so a pretty good day for Brittany Carmazzi.
It was a great accomplishment for her, and was the only North Catholic swimmer to place first, so that's great to represent the school there. But just because they didn't get first doesn't mean they didn't represent, because there were a lot of North Catholic swimmers that placed in the top 10 in these races.
Or even got their own personal records, which is very impressive as well.
The 200-yard medley relay, North Catholic finished 8th place, and Ainsley Bissett finished 8th in the 200 freestyle and the 7th in the 500 freestyle. And those are hard races. And North Catholic also got 8th place in the 200 freestyle relay, Alex.
Very impressive. I mean, that's a lot of Ainsley Bissett did a lot of swimming that day. And then you get Katie Ravasio, who finished 11th in the 500 free. But in particular, congratulations to her for setting her own personal record, which is very impressive. Also, Madeline Manska. Madeline Manska.
I had to correct you on that last week.
I apologize. I mean, we're not great with names. Madeline Manska.
Manska.
I won't mess that up again. Finished 13th in the 100 back. And then the 400 free relay, They got 12th place.
And in the boys medley relay, we got 5th place, setting a new school record and qualifying for states. Zach Baker finished 13th in 200 freestyle, his new personal record, 14th in the 500 freestyle, which is also a new personal record and school record.
Very impressive for him. And Jackson Kress finished 6th in the 200 individual medley. And that is a new personal record and a new school record as well, and is the first alternate for the 200 intermediate medley for states. So particularly congratulations to him as well.
John Lamb finished 10th in the 200 individual medley, which is a new personal record, and he finished 8th in the 100 breaststroke, which is also a new personal record and also a school record.
Look at all these personal records and school records. Very impressive by the swim team this past weekend.
Setting the bar high for years to come.
And for themselves. They're setting the bar high for themselves. Matt Littleton finished 5th in the 100 fly. This might shock you, Ryan, but this was also a personal record and a school record, and he is a state qualifier. In the 200 free relay, 3rd place for the school. Guess what, Ryan? That's another school record. They are state qualifiers in that as well.
Julia LaPetrie finished 5th in the 100 freestyle, and guess what? That's a new personal record and a new school record.
That's shocking. I mean, they just keep on coming. They keep on coming. Very impressive. Owen Schessler finished 16th in the 500 free, and that's a personal record for him.
And then in the 400 freestyle relay, they had 5th place. The school did, and that's another new school record.
And they're going to
and
states.
It's a state qualifier.
And they're going to states. So overall, as you can tell by what would happen, that's a very impressive weekend for the swim team, and we wish them well in states, but particular congratulations to all those people that qualified, and also congratulations to everyone who competed. They represented themselves and the school very well. And
hopefully next year we'll get some new school records to read off this list, Alex.
You know, and some of these people, seniors, Brittany Kermazzi, a senior, to finish in the 100 fly and be the WPIAL champion, and that's very impressive. And all these people are setting the bar high for the school, for the people to come, and for themselves in the future.
Alex, do you need some new North Catholic spirit wear?
As a matter of fact, I do, Ryan.
Well, make sure to check out our Trojan Spirit Shop today on our new athletic website at www.northcatholicathletics.org.
What can I buy there, Ryan?
Well, recently we have added new quarter zips, new crew neck sweatshirts, and other items to the store.
So, just to be clear, Ryan, that's www.northcatholicathletics.org?
That's it, Alex. Be sure to go there today to pick up your new North Catholic spirit wear.
And with that, let's move on to the girls' varsity basketball team, who has won 2 games since we last talked last time. And in that, the first game, they beat Brownsville by the score of 78-31. Brownsville, the 17 seed, we knew that was going to probably be a blowout game, and North did not disappoint in that game, as they were very impressive all over the place, defense and offense.
In that game, I mean, at the end of the first quarter, it was 32-7, and that just really put the dagger in the other team's will to win. I mean, the other team, they didn't do themselves any help. They were terrible from the free throw line. It's called the free throw line for a reason. They were 5 for 17, a 30% mark on the free throw line, while North Catholic made 100% of their free throws, 9 for 9, and that helped them get out to an early lead in that game. And they also, North Catholic shot 50% from the field goal range, and Brownsville was only 33%, Alex.
Very impressive. I mean, when you shoot as they did 50% from the field goal range, you're not going to lose that game. 9 times out of 10, you're not going to lose that game. And Brownsville could barely get to half court in that first half. Barely. As you said, they got like 14 points in the first half. They barely got to half court.
They had 37 turnovers, and North Catholic had 28 steals on that. I mean, that's a lot of turnovers. And I mean, as you said, they didn't get past half court in the first half, and or they obviously got past half court, but they didn't get past it much. They were turning the ball over a lot, and they were just outmatched by North Catholic. And North Catholic didn't let up. They just went hard the whole entire game and got some subs in at the end of the game. So that's a good thing, Alex.
Yeah, they were able to rest the starters, but also you said all those turnovers, Ryan. They had 37. Brownsville had 37 turnovers. North Catholic had 49 points off of turnovers. 49. That's
unbelievable, Alex.
That's unbelievable. So they're not only getting the
more
ball,
than half their points off the turnovers.
They're converting off these turnovers, and it was at some point in that game, Ryan, it was like, oh my gosh, like I don't know if
Because you
they're
were
ever-
at that game.
I was at that game. In that first quarter, it was 32-7 at the end of the quarter, and I'm like, they could get to 100. And I think it's a good thing they didn't, but
Yeah.
I think it's a good thing they didn't, but they played a phenomenal game, but it was as expected, and they should have played that way against this team, but they did very well. And if you look at the box score for that game, everyone on the team, they're passing, they're getting a lot of assists, rebounds all over the place, shooting very well. Alayna Rocco led the team in scoring with 18 points, followed by Tori Drevno with 14, Dacia Lewandowski with 13. So there were 4 Trojanettes in the double digits. And I got the opportunity to speak to Dacia after the game about the game and her thoughts on it. And this is how our conversation went. I'm here with Dacia Lewandowski after her and her team's opening win against Brownsville, 78-31. Dacia, how is it to start out your WPIAL run with such a convincing win?
It's definitely nice to know that our team has definitely improved from the beginning to now, and that we're able to just come out hard and do what we do on the court.
You got started quick out of the gate with the press, and then you're converting off of turnovers constantly. Was that part of the game plan?
Yes, that definitely was part of the game plan. We haven't practiced our press much throughout the season, so we thought this was a good game to test it out and see how it worked, and it obviously was effective.
Always good to get the bench in the game, and a lot of your players got a lot of playing time, and most of them scored.
Yes.
Speak to how that's great for the team and for the starters as well.
It's definitely great for the team. We love getting everyone involved all the way from the bench to the court. I think our team is great at having people, if you're on the bench, cheering hard, in the game cheering hard, and vice versa.
And you had a great game as well, 14 points. And thank you for stopping by, and good luck this Saturday.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
From Dacia Lewandowski, and she was just great, Ryan, there for giving us the time. She was the first ever interview of a player on the North Catholic Sports Podcast.
And next up, Alex, we're going to talk about their second game, the quarterfinal matchup against the Freedom Bulldogs. They won 69-49 in a well-played game that has pushed through that whole game. In the beginning of the game, the first half, I believe they had 12 or 13 fouls, and they were able to push past that, persevere, and be able to plug away and keep a lead that whole entire first half. They started off scoring 4 seconds in, and they never looked back. Brownsville. Freedom was able to make some runs near the end of the game, but they were able to hold them off there. Actually, one of the main things that they were able to hold them off with was the three-point shooting, Alex. It was just unbelievable. I believe they shot 50% from three-point land, which is that's
8
what
of
you got to
16
do to win a game.
It's not like they
Especially-
shot 8 shots. They shot 16 shots from 3.
And that was one of the priorities going into the game. And Alayna Rocco led the team that game with 30 points. She shot 5 for 7 from
Unbelievable
three-point
game.
land.
Unbelievable.
And she made 7 out of 9 of her free throws, and she was a plus 20. 9 for 15 from field goal range, and 30 points, Alex. 30 of 69 points. That's almost half their team scoring.
And
she's a freshman as well.
She was phenomenal. She's a freshman, as you said there, Ryan. And her and Ava Walker are both freshmen. And they're really stars, and it's exciting to see for what they're going to do over the next 3 years here at North. Because look what they're doing right now. She's got 30 points as a freshman in this game, and she's going to continue to get better and grow, as will Ava Walker, who had another great game herself as well. I mean, freshmen, you might not even see minutes in this game, not even make the team, let alone see minutes most of the time. But they're thriving on this team. As Ava Walker at 13 points, again, double digits. Dacia Lewandowski at 13. But overall, it was an intense game, wasn't it, Ryan? You were there for that one.
There was fans getting kicked out in the second half of that game. It was getting intense.
One thing that was a struggle for North, 2 things basically. The offensive rebounds weren't great for North. They had 5, but that's also because they were making a lot of shots. That's another reason for that to be the case. But another one is turnovers. They had 21 turnovers.
Offensive rebounds. You get a lot of offensive rebounds off of three-point attempts, and when you're making 50% of your three-point attempts, you're not going to get as many offensive rebounds.
You're right about that. But the turnovers was a little bit of a problem. 21 turnovers when Freedom only had 13. So that was a little bit of a problem. But they were able to withstand it, as you said. They were able to stand the adversity, the intensity of that game. It's a WPIAL game. You got to expect that. But they were able to weather the storm, and they're moving on to the semifinals. This Wednesday at North against Laurel, and that will be a great game. And I think it'll be a close game.
Yeah, it's going to take a lot of effort because Laurel is going to give them as much as they got. They're going to come out like Freedom did, hard, trying to get a lead to take some momentum away from North Catholic. They got to be able to get the ball down low, get some early points, make some big shots early to be able to build a sustainable lead that they can control throughout that game. I got to ask Alayna, Rocco a couple questions about what they were able to do to be able to get that lead and sustain it throughout the game. And Alayna, Rocco had 30 points that game and was the Trib Live Player of the Week. So tremendous accomplishments, and she gave me a couple good answers on what they did to be able to get that win against Freedom. I'm here with Alayna, Rocco following the North Catholic girls basketball defeat of Freedom in the quarterfinals of the WPIAL playoffs by the score of 69-49. Congratulations on the win.
Thank you.
Alayna, after battling foul calls throughout the first half, how were you guys able to stay focused and maintain a lead throughout the whole entire game?
Well, our coaches, they focused on us not listening to the crowd and just keep our hands up. The refs weren't calling much, but it worked out in the end. So.
Yeah, there were, 13 foul calls in that first half. You guys did a good job of battling past that and staying out of foul trouble in the second half. For question 2, the three-point shot seemed like a priority throughout the first half and second half of the game. You guys were able to get some big leads off of it. Was that a priority coming into the game, or did that just kind of the way it worked out?
Well, we all knew that three-pointers, they really turn the game around. They're a harder shot than a layup, and it's an extra point, so it really helps get everybody rolling.
Freedom put up a fight throughout the whole entire game. How are you guys able to hold off their multiple comeback attempts in the third quarter and second half and make sure they never got close enough to make a serious move?
Well, I think we just played as a team. We really care about each other, so having everybody telling next play, it really helps.
That does it. Thank you for joining me, and good luck the rest of the season.
Thank you.
And you just heard from Alayna, Rocco recapping their win against Freedom.
North Catholic Sports Network, we have Trojan hockey for you as the varsity team takes on divisional rival Freeport Tuesday night from the UPMC Lemieux Sports Complex. Puck drop is slated for 9:10 p.m.
In our Wednesday evening, we have the WPIAL 3A girls basketball semifinal between your number 1 ranked Trojanettes and the number 4 seed, the Laurel Spartans. Tip-off is scheduled for 6 p.m. You can catch all of the action on the North Catholic Sports Network. Let's move on to the North Catholic boys varsity basketball team and their win against Mount Pleasant 73-47 in the second round of the WPIAL tournament. Alex, you were at that game. What did you get away from that game, and how did they start?
Well, they didn't start good, Ryan. They started really bad. They were down at 0-7 at the beginning, and that's exactly what Coach DiGregorio was talking about us last week. They had to start well. He said they're not good in the first 4 minutes of the game, and they weren't good in the first 4 minutes of the game this time. But thankfully they were able to come back. They made it 8-7. They went on an 8-0 run to make it 8-7, and from there it was over. Ammerman was incredible in that game. He played very, very well, and he had 10 points in the first half. Not the first half, but the first quarter, I should say. And at the end of the half, he had 16. But he was great from three. Gregor was great from three. They're getting great turnovers.
The team as a whole wasn't great from three. That was one of their weakest points from that game.
But Gregor was great from
23% from three. Gregor was really good, and Ammerman was 13 from 16 from the field. Some of those were big, monstrous dunks that gave the team momentum, gave them life, let them be able to get back into that game. And he was able to knock down his free throws, too. 4 for 5 out of free throws. And like the girls' game, they turned Mount Pleasant over. Mount Pleasant had 34 turnovers, North Catholic 13. And Mount Pleasant, they started really well, but they only made one sub almost halfway through the first half. And so their players started getting tired. They weren't as stingy on defense. North Catholic used that to their advantage, be able to get some big buckets and be able to get a big lead and make Mount Pleasant take timeouts. And North Catholic, they made some big shots there to be able to get a big sustainable lead if they were to carry through the rest of that game.
34 turnovers for Mount Pleasant. That's a lot. And very similar to the girls' first game against Brownsville. They had 36 points off of turnovers, North did. So they're able to capitalize off these turnovers, and that was a big part of that game. They made them get ahead, especially in that second and third quarter.
Points in the paint, too, was really good. I mean, that was mostly due to Ammerman.
Well, that's Ammerman. He was a beast in the paint.
It was 42-20 in points in the paint, and when you get that most games, you're going to get the win, as North did.
If you look at the box score for North, they had 4 players in double digits in points. Ammerman with 30, Connor Madelon with 16, Matthew Greger with 13, and Isaiah Jackson with 10, who really came on in the fourth quarter. As he had a nice stretch there. He had a stretch of about 20 seconds. He had 5 points with 2 steals in about 20 seconds as he really turned it on in that second half of that game to get going and put North over the top. And I got to speak with Isaiah after the game about the slow start I talked about, and then they're playing with Ammerman and getting back in that second and third quarter, and how pivotal that was to get moving on to play Quaker tonight. I'm here with Isaiah Jackson after him and his team defeated Mount Pleasant 73-47. Isaiah, you guys started off slow, but you came back in that first quarter and you never looked back. What was the secret to that?
Well, starting slow obviously isn't good for us. We definitely have to work on that. But just pushing the pace, playing with confidence, and playing great defense has helped us go on a little run.
Into that second and third quarter, you were able to really get into the paint, get it to Ammerman, and get fouls and convert on those free throws. How important is that to your game?
Very important. It's probably the most important part of our offense. We love to get it into Ammerman and let him work out in there to get us some major buckets because not everybody's used to having a 6'7" big in the WPIAL.
After that slow start, as you mentioned, your defense really turned it up. How important is that to you to get that defense starting from the beginning of the game and continuing that? Because that's really the main focal point of your team.
Yeah, that's definitely the main focus of our team by far and away. We start practice off with 10 minutes of defense every single practice, and just forcing the other team to get moving and run and play at our pace to get into their legs. And by the end of the game, they're gassed, and that's when we go on our runs. Isaiah,
great game for yourself. You had you were in the double digits as well as I think 3 other people. Thank you for your time, and good luck on Monday.
Thank you.
And once again, you just heard from Isaiah Jackson after their North Catholic's defeat of Mount Pleasant this past Thursday night. And now let's move on as we re-record this segment Tuesday morning after the Quaker Valley defeat by your North Catholic Trojans in a very convincing fashion, right, Ryan?
Yes, it was 84-56. No one really expected that because Quaker Valley was actually the 4 seed in this game. North Catholic was the 5 seed, so we were slight underdogs, but we were able to go in there and get a really convincing win on the backs of Owen D. Gregorio's 7 for 10 3-point shooting, 21 points in that game. Wow, what a game, Alex!
Absolutely incredible from the 3 from Owen, and that's a kind of game that you'll remember for a long, long time. And granted, Quaker Valley didn't have their best player in the playing yesterday, but that doesn't matter in terms of winning the game. You got to win the game no matter who's playing against you, and that's certainly what they did. And they won by, 28 points? I mean, that's an impressive win, and they shot very well today, Ryan, didn't they?
Yeah, they shot 48% from the field, and they shot 37% from the three-point line, and they made 90% of the free throws. So when you do that, you're going to get a win. And they were very good defensively. Quaker Valley was averaging 68 points per game, and North Catholic held them to only 56. So when you keep a team under their average for scoring, you're going to have a good game.
Also, they forced 20 turnovers from Quaker Valley, and they were able to score 26 points off of turnovers. Also, 34 points in the paint for North Catholic, which is another impressive stat. Ammerman had another great game. There were 4 Trojans in the double digits.
And Ammerman, he had a slower first half, but in that second half, he really started to pick it up, get to the foul line, and that is one of the reasons that North Catholic started to run away from that game.
That's where they put it away.
Because in the first quarter, North Catholic was only up 15-14. Second quarter, they started to run away with it a little bit. And then they were up 11 at halftime. And then in the third quarter was another close quarter, but in the fourth quarter, that's when everything fell apart for Quaker Valley. And North Catholic outscored them by 15 points that quarter, and that just lost them the game.
And Ammerman really had a great game. He was 7 of 8 from the field. He didn't have to shoot a lot, but when he shot, he was accurate, and then he was 5 for 5 from the line, so perfect. But this is exactly what you wanted to see if you're North. You needed the win, you got the win, and you did it in a convincing fashion. You have a lot of momentum going into Thursday.
And another thing I want to mention is one player that really, really helped North Catholic get a little jump in the second quarter. Max Rotman, he came in the second quarter, got a quick basket, made a 3, and then got a steal off Quaker Valley and got another bucket to stretch North the lead and make Quaker Valley have to take a timeout.
And with that win, they'll be going on to play the 1 seed Bell Vernon on Thursday at 6 o'clock. And that's obviously a huge game for North, and that's going to be a more competitive game than this was, certainly. But if they play the way they did this game, Ryan, and you get a good start from the very beginning, and you're able to shoot pretty well, they're not going to shoot that same way, probably from the three. They're probably not going to shoot that same way. They shot 30 shots, made 11 of them, making that a 36, basically 37% from the three, which is pretty good. And they need to be able to keep up that shooting. So if they keep up that shooting, Ryan, they're going to win every game. They really are.
Definitely, Alex. And another good point from that game was Isaiah Jackson had 10 points. I feel like every game you're saying that he has double-digit points.
He almost, it's basically every game that he has double-digit points. He's Mr. Reliable, and he's able to get you that basket we need. He's got great energy, as he got 2 threes in that game as well. And they were able to sit their starters at the end, right, Ryan?
Which was good. And one of those players that came in, I think Seamus Straub was able to knock down a 3 there on his first possession. So that's always a good thing when you can get those players to get some points near the end of the game and get some confidence, because you never know when you'll need them.
Absolutely. And so once again, we're re-recording this segment on Tuesday. So if there's confusion from the beginning of the broadcast, when we were saying we're recording on Monday, we were recording that on Monday. This part is being recorded Tuesday morning. So, and a great win, and look forward to North Catholic's game on Thursday against Bell Vernon. And with that is all we have for boys basketball this week, and that's all we have for the podcast this week. At times we were stumbling over ourselves at some point. Obviously, second episode, we're still getting into a rhythm, still getting into a groove. We're going to get better every week. Ryan, it was a pleasure doing this with you.
It was fun doing it with you, Alex. We look forward to doing this again in the future, hopefully talking about some North Catholic basketball wins. Thank you all for listening. We'll catch you next time on the North Catholic Athletics Podcast.